that Xbox is gobbling up publishers, two of them, two major publishers with Bethesda, ZeniMax, and now Activision Blizzard and King. And this is where they needed to be with that extra revenue to stay competitive. And when a federal judge tells you this is good for competition and this is good for consumers, you know that you're in the right place. And finally, Xbox fans have something to celebrate. Finally, the new future of Xbox has arrived. Oh my gosh, it's been a long wait. Fans, we can be happy. We can be excited.
Collusion.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're going to go over a special topic here. Time to kind of retrospectively reflect and even some current events here in regards to Xbox, and we're going to take a look back at how that all came to be real quick in regards to the ABK deal. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. All right, so like I said, what we're going to do is get right to the theme, right to the plot here in regards to the ABK deal, what happened back then, kind of what's transpired now and all that stuff, but let's just kind of go over these examples and these findings here, right? So right away, Lee Hepner, if you haven't followed him, he's someone to follow that followed the whole ordeal as well, but keep in mind, he stated in March 2023, Microsoft told a court, Game Pass prices will not increase as a result of the Microsoft Activision merger. On July 10th, 2023, a federal judge whose son works at Microsoft, mind you, rejected the FTC's challenge to the merger. Once again, Lina Khan was right? So as you can see here from the graph and everything like that, the recurring theme here is the Xbox fanboys, shields, frauds, grifters, all of them, the fanboys in general as well, just tallying on, following along, and Lina Khan was out to be demonized, right? Because it didn't fit that narrative, and all these fanboys, fraud, shills, and grifters knew better, right? And again, we can fast forward to right now to current times and what Xbox had to do, shift, pivot, and all that stuff. But looking back, you're like, maybe this person wasn't wrong after all. Maybe they had other intentions behind it that was better for the consumer as a whole. But we'll continue to go through that, right? Moving right along, Lina Khan, like I said, and again, advocate for or not, whatever, what was stated, I believe, was true. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been followed by significant price hikes and layoffs, harming both gamers and developers. As we've seen across sectors, right? Increasing market consolidation and increasing prices often go hand in hand. Common sense. 2+2 type of scenarios here, guys. As dominant firms become too big to care, they can make things worse for their customers without having to worry about the consequences. I don't find any lies in between there, guys. Again, love or hate the person, right? I'm not finding anything wrong with those statements. They seem to be pretty factual statements, and we've seen that happen even outside of Microsoft, even outside of this thesis here, right? Simple. Let's continue. Polygon even writes in, this is back on September, recently of 2025. Xbox even more expensive after second price hike in 6 months. An Xbox Series X is $150 more than what it was 4 months ago. Okay. Yes, we can attribute it to a lot of other things as well. Inflation, this, that, and the other. Mike Ibarra does not believe it's due to tariffs and stuff like that. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I do believe strongly, and that's the case that we have here, that the ABK deal especially is the one that helped additionally influence this and had to make these changes because that revenue was not coming in quick enough, shareholders, investors, etc., etc. This is what the end result is to today's case, right, for Xbox as a brand. As we continue here, right, and when we're talking about the fraud, shills, and grifters, none other than Jez, he was out to attack Lina Khan, one of the first ones to attack Lina Khan during this whole ordeal, stating Lina Khan should resign. She is blinded by ideology and ignorance of the gaming industry and seeks to use the Xbox Activision deal as a bludgeon to the detriment of consumers across the entire world, not just us or whatnot, right? Going off of the thread, corporations, has her list out, and you could read this here, right? I don't need to reread that. But ultimately, do you see how strong he feels about this? Why? Because this is against a narrative in his mind, and many of the other fanboys or talking heads, shills, frauds, grifters, all that stuff. I have to say that whole thing because I just want to encompass everybody that's had an effect negatively towards the brand, right? But again, who's the one that's blinded? We can pick this apart if we wanted to. Who's the one that's blinded? Him, because he's an Xbox fanboy and he wanted this. He's thinking the outcome was exclusives. The outcome was having exclusives, like maybe making Call of Duty possibly exclusive or timed exclusive, or perks and benefits. Anything under that umbrella, you name it, whether it be Doom, whether it be anything else from ZeniMax to ABK, anything in regards to being exclusive, making that ecosystem worthwhile more than just Game Pass, right? Game Pass is a great tack-on piece of it, but ultimately he wanted exclusives from all of the acquisitions that Microsoft had from the past few years, right? But again, the one that's very upset about that was him. And as we all know, fast forwarding to today's time, he was completely wrong. Let's continue, right? Lena Khan, under her second one, talking about the antitrust laws, and just stating a fact here. I don't see anything wrong with this. Our role is to serve as law enforcers who block unlawful activity, not as deal makers who accept reduced competition in exchange for some unrelated benefit. Reading that whole paragraph there, even in number 2, I don't see anything wrong with that, whether you believe that or not, or what their true intent is. Regardless, I don't see any misinformation here necessarily. Jez, again, please resign. You're harming consumers. Jez is the one that's been harming consumers, folks. He's been harming it. The fraud, shills, and grifters and such are the ones harming the brand, harming consumers, because they've made this a thing. They've okayed everything. They were wrong, and they've come out multiple times at this point in time, said they were wrong about this whole ordeal, right? Too little, too late, and they continue to put on the charade. Today, King David, Colt, Jez, whomever, they continue to do it. To this day. Even though they were wrong, they admitted they were wrong, all this stuff. Some of them, not all of them, admitted they were wrong, by the way. It's just weird. It's bizarre. And they continue to harm the brand. We needed competition. I even sat back during this whole ordeal. That's why you don't have any posts or tweets or videos from me in regards to saying anything too positive or negative about the whole interaction, because it did go back and forth. I will admit that I'm not a lawyer. I will admit I'm not a congressman, a politician, or anything of that sort, or anything in the umbrella that encompasses what was going on for the approval of this. I said my opinions, and that it went either way, and competition was there, and if they got away with it and truly made exclusives and buckled down on it, your competition was going to be there, possibly. They were never good about the quality portion of it, but that's a video for another time. But as we continue to go on, again, love or hate the person, all politics aside, Bernie Sanders, a politician, government person, whatever you want to label him as, I applaud the FTC for moving to block this merger. In sector after sector, a handful of giant corporations control what is produced and how much Americans pay for their products. We must stop this disingenuous concentration of ownership. This is a huge step in the right direction, or this is a step in the right direction, right? Simple as that. Bernie Sanders is not a gamer. Bernie Sanders probably doesn't do anything more than maybe Candy Crush on his phone, if that. All things aside, he's just weighing in and agreeing with it. Again, love or hate the person, I don't see there being any misinformation in that simple post, right? But of course, again, Jez, the whole point of this, Jez at the bottom, calling out this person, you're ignorant. He is that upset at this point because we have politicians, and I understand politicians getting in the way of stuff, right? But this pissed off, saying you're ignorant. Who's the ignorant one now? Jez has always been the ignorant person. So for him to sit there, I don't know if he was looking in the mirror at that time, but he was the ignorant person right there, right? Very simple to understand. But all of a sudden, all these other people had an agenda because it didn't work for his narrative, didn't work for their narrative. So everybody had an agenda, right? Really, really weird. And we're not done with that, right? So we continue on. Even Gaz himself, who jumped ship to PC, keep in mind, huge Xbox fanboy. Lena Khan got fully MER, I'm not going to say it on here, because whatever. And whilst the thumbnail looks like I'm relishing the whole situation, the reality is that I am relishing the whole situation. Here's some mini spice before the main sauce event, and has her being cooked as a turkey or chicken or whatever have you, right? And him pointing and laughing. And then, of course, a follower of his, John Blazzini, she got cooked, right? So he even thought he knew what he was talking about. He didn't, and I think he might have came out at some point and said, I was wrong, whoops, blah, blah, blah. They have no semblance of truth to their name. They, again, have no conviction. They were wrong. They thought for sure, and then all their followers thought for sure because they were gloating and laughing and hyping everything up and thought this was a good thing. For sure, was very, very detrimental, very for sure had their case claimed that this was a good thing and that nothing bad could come from this, and it was only a good thing for competition, for consumers, and to make sure the ecosystem was healthy and all that sort of stuff. And boy, were they wrong. And again, whatever, right? As far as how many followers somebody has, but it's just the fact that people will follow individuals like this that are consistently wrong, that have been so inherently wrong consistently and like to be lied to. You follow these people and you're lied to all the time where they're wrong and they jump ship, they're not sticking with it. At least the hardcore fanboys that are sticking with Xbox are still sticking with it. They didn't jump ship fully. I mean, they're trying to now because the next hybrid, and that's the new craze, is supposedly the talking heads and stuff are like, yeah, we always wanted to be on PC. No, you didn't. But again, ridiculousness. And of course, Colt chimes in later on as well. We had him in the opener. Had this good cookie right here. Colt Eastwood reporting live from the PlayStation Ever Fountain of Tears as Xbox proves PlayStation FTC and CMA wrong. How many times? I've lost count. I could probably have to go back years and years at this point, get a tally, put it on an Excel spreadsheet, write it down on paper old school style. Whatever the case is, I would still lose count on how many times Colt Eastwood has been wrong, has been insufficient with his information, has been extremely biased in a negative way, and in a way that harms the industry, that harms anybody that follows him, that's garnered an audience with him. But yeah, great look there. As we continue, right, he has another portion of it, adds a different one, LOL, all caps with a bunch of exclamation marks. He's still on it because he thought for sure, just like he always thinks for sure, and you heard it here first, Fonz. Xbox might be slightly ahead of PlayStation in hardware sales until the hardware sales didn't matter, and they never were ahead of PlayStation. But I mean, again, that was just one of his most famous little mini statements and quotes and comments live on air. It's just, it doesn't stop. I've lost count. And this guy still has tons of followers. Why? I personally would not want to follow somebody that's giving me the incorrect information. I don't follow anybody that consistently gives me, and people can be wrong, right? A little bit of grace, positive intent. People can be wrong. It happens. But when you're as wrong and as often as this person consistently, and he knows better, I mean, you guys do it to yourself, man. You do it to yourself. But additionally, right, The Verge stating Microsoft exec was ready to go spin Sony out of business to strengthen Xbox. Internal email shows Microsoft's early thinking on acquisitions to drive Xbox Game Pass growth. And Tom Warren posted this, and this was back in 23, right? He's talking about Matt Booty here. As you continue on through here, right? Microsoft's game studio chief Matt Booty was encouraging Xbox CFO Tim Stewart to spend big money on acquiring game content in 2019 to set the company up to battle Sony in subscriptions. The revelation comes in an email thread that's part of the FTC versus Microsoft hearing. We, Microsoft, are in the very unique position to be able to spin Sony out of business, said Booty in December 2019 email, referencing spending $2 billion or even $3 billion in 2020 to avoid competitors getting ahead in content at a later date. So again, they had ill intentions. They wanted to not have competition. You want to talk about competition and fair play and etc. And then you have that stuff there that was outed, wasn't supposed to be outed, and there you have it. But hey, we want to keep bolstering up and propping up Xbox as the pro-consumer move, the pro-consumer ecosystem that was never truly the case. They're a business, they're a corporation, and just like Sony, just like Nintendo, just like if you were talking about Google Stadia, whoever, The intent is to make money. The intent is not to be the consumer's friend, but to keep them happy enough to garner and continually funnel in that money, right? Just something here. We got a nib post here I want to share as well. While the entire industry has faced layoffs and price increases, it's a disingenuous, false equivalence to imply Xboxes are in line with the rest of the industries. Xbox significantly leads all other major gaming publishers in percentage of total workforce layoffs. They also had, by far, the largest price increase on both hardware and services too. Game Pass Ultimate has increased in price by a stunning 100% since August 2023. Layoff percentages-wise, they're somehow even worse than the Embracer, another publisher that was involved in a mass large-scale acquisition with utterly catastrophic management, right? Let's go over the rough estimated and reported numbers of layoffs for the different publishers since 2023 and what percentage of publisher they represent as versus fiscal year of 2023 employee count. So you can hit pause on there. I'm not going to read the numbers for you. You can look at that and look at the stark, drastic differences, versus and comparisons and all that sort of stuff there. So hit a pause there. But wanted to share with that. I think that's good information. That's what Nib does. He gives that out, puts it in there. He loves to do it. So wanted to share that with the whole theme of things here to kind of give you that idea. But let's keep going here. Oh no, it's Alex additionally as well, right? He definitely hasn't been wrong consistently and likes to call everybody else out, but here we have it. This is the receipt back from October 4th from way back. The entire industry has faced layoffs and price increases without a merger, talking about Lina Khan's statement, right? He just always deflect. I mean, he loves to do that. Just prop up the Xbox and Xbox fanboys to have that community, that grift to keep it going. That is the sentence that he legitly put out. He legitly put out, like, well, you don't know what you're talking about, Lina Khan. As you can see here, the entire industry's faced layoffs and price increases without a merger. So just because there's a merger and it just would happen to happen, it's coincidental. It's with or without it, it would happen. Additionally, that would increase it. That would exponentially increase the speed at what that would happen when you do wrong or biting off more than you can chew in regards to acquisitions. It's not that hard to understand. It really isn't. That there is a possibility, and if that possibility was to come true, in which it did, obviously we're here in the future, and we look back at this crap, that's what happened. It exponentially increased the speed at which that happened, and it had the potential to do that, and it did do that. And then, of course, Gaz chiming in because, let's prop each other up. That's what we do. We're all on the same page and the same team, guys. This is what's great. I've seen the morons barking on this to say she was right, as if Microsoft is the reason why Sony and Nintendo and everyone else in the industry has seen price hikes. LOL, idiots. Again, chiming on to try and back that statement up. Like, yeah, you're right, Alex. That's right. That's what they think, but you're the one that's right. And these morons think blah, 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 blah. Deflection, whataboutisms, all that sort of stuff. They are absolute morons. And again, tons of followers because they believe what they say when they're consistently wrong most of the time. It's really bad. It's harmed the brand. It's people like this. And this is why I do what I do, to show this stuff. Like, look how wrong they were. Look how wrong they are consistently. And look what happened to the brand when we did need competition, guys. We needed the competition. Now it's okay. Put everything on PC. Everything's going to work itself out fine. Everything needs to be on PC. Everything day and day. Forget consoles. Forget exclusives. Forget everything. Huh? Man, in the sake of competition, always wanting competition, and competition breeds success. I said that all the time. I still say that all the time. And competition's a good thing until it's not, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Funny how that works out. As we continue on here, right? Melky on site puts up some good information as well. To nowhere near the extent Xbox has faced, talking about this, right? This gen alone for Xbox, it's estimated around 3,000 to 4,000 employees have been laid off. Unfortunately, that sucks. 7 major studio closures, that sucks. 7 major game projects canceled, that sucks. 2 major price hikes to failing hardware, not great. 3 major price hikes to Game Pass, that sucks and is also not great, in response to Alex's post there, right? Good call-outs, good information, and again, once again, the truth. There's nothing to debate here. I mean, that's the truth, right? And then, of course, to wrap this up here, right? Tom Warren speaks as of October 4th of this year, just over a month ago. Yes, we're already in November. It's kind of crazy. If you think the ABK acquisition hasn't led to layoffs and game price jumps, then yeah. So fast forward to current times, to the future, whatever you want to call it. ABK definitely had an impact on Xbox in the most negative way possible. Again, a lot of the folks that were talking heads still are talking heads, fraud, shills, grifters. Again, some of them admitted they were wrong. Some of them still are doubling down that it wasn't an issue. Still isn't an issue. Those same people were also saying that it's okay that the player base is also being shifted and herded over to the PC ecosystem. It's okay, right? It's not okay. Consoles are a great entry point. Consoles are fun. Consoles are easy, plug and play. Consoles are affordable entry points versus PC. Less tweaking, less this, less that, whatever. You want to play on PC? Again, I'm not telling you can't or you shouldn't. There's just different caveats to it that I state all the time. Be aware of that. Consoles need to stick around. Competition needs to stick around. It looks like that's not the case for Xbox because they're going the way of the dodo in regards to being full third party and garnering and herding their player base and future player bases over to the PC ecosystem where there's going to be less competition because it's just the PC ecosystem. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of crazy times going ahead, but I did want to take time and reflect on this, go through this to the past, present, and possible future. So there's a lot to unpack there, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video going through this all around. Of course, if you haven't already, leave a like, comment down below. Both those things help out the algorithm. Feel free to throw out those hype points as well, helping out the video. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. You want more of the truth. You want more realism here. You want to have some fun as well. That's what we're here and for. I appreciate everybody's support. You guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, if I can even talk right. And of course, even though this isn't a salty batch video necessarily, just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all guys next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.